Meister, what attracted you to Mahler?
As a matter of fact, I would like to tell you that I had great difficulties to establish an affinity to Mahler because at the age of, I would say, 16 or 17, when I heard the first time piece by Mahler, it was the Lied von der Erde, with Bruno Walter conducting. I did not like it particularly.
Can you tell me why you didn't like it?
Yes, I tell you, because only many years later I found out why. Because it was so completely different in style from what I expected of from a symphony after Brahms and Beethoven. Already the fact that many melodical in the texture, very great sections were rather like popular music. Also the fact, like, let's see, in number 3, in Lied von der Erde, von der Jugend,
Yes.
the pavilion, the fact that the orchestration was so completely different from what I was used to, Haydn, Mozart, Schubert, Beethoven, Brahms. That there were instruments used like a mandolin, for instance. And the whole ambiance, the whole situation was so completely different from the traditional classical pattern that it took me some time to get really a contact. Well, but it didn't take very long. 2-3 years later, I became almost a fanatic of Mahler's music. And at this time I was so fortunate as a young man to be able to listen to Mahler, mostly conducted by 2 conductors. One, Bruno Walter, and the other, Oskar Fried,
Oscar Fried, yes.
a name which maybe is not familiar to you. He came once to New York, I know only once in his life. He did a few concerts in the early 20s when there were 2 orchestras in New York. Besides the Philharmonic, there was the New York Symphony Orchestra, and I think he came for the New York Symphony Orchestra. But he was a great Mahler conductor. Mahler himself considered him a very excellent interpreter of Mahler, of his own music.
Fried had studied with Mahler?
Not exactly, but there was an association which is more important than studying with.
I know of one Mahler recording that Fried made.
Number 2, oh yes.
Bindernagel.
Yes, correct, yes.
Unfortunately, it's very acoustical.
Yes.
And it's difficult to listen to that way.
Yes.
Outside of that, I know Fried made some other recordings, which are good recordings.
Yes.
I had no idea he was considered that much of a Mahler conductor.
Very much indeed.
He also conducted Saarbrückner.
He was a man who had an enormously small repertoire.
Really?
Yes, enormously small. But this small repertoire he really did beautifully. And this repertoire included all the Mahler symphonies, with the exception of number 8.
Except 8.
Yes, he never had the chance, unfortunately, to do it.
Was he an influence on you as a conductor?
Yes, not as a conductor, as a Mahler interpreter, yes, definitely.